Well, welcome back to another Skills Workshop, episode number 37. Apologies we didn't come to you last Friday, Adrian, but everyone was already kind of celebrating Australia Day weekend.
Yeah.
Australia Day weekend is now gone.
Yep.
Officially, everyone is back. The real estate calendar has now begun.
Yes.
And what better day, what better time to sit down and have a chat with you about listing skills. You would have heard on the webinar this morning, we spoke a little bit about listing skills with John.
Yes.
And we spoke about a number of key questions that you can really drive and ask people at the listing presentation to build instant rapport, but really get them to understand how powerful and how successful you would be representing them in their property sale.
Yes.
Adrian, if it's possible, can you run through with me your 2, 3, 4, 5 key questions that you consistently asked your vendors, potential clients, that made them understand that you were the best person to represent them during the sale?
Yeah, I think one of them John touched on the webinar, Troy, which was, how did you go about calling me? Was it a referral? Was it someone at an open house we might have met at, or was it at a property that we may have come across? Was it a social media boost? Was it a sold sign? Was it a DL card? Well, I mean, they're the layers that we often talk about, but it's still important to be able to measure that so you can manage it, because what we can't measure, we can't manage. So I think that's really important. Secondly, I think it's also important during that initial phone call, Troy, to get a pulse on what the home is about, a brief description of the property. And as John might have touched on, preface the price question, which is, do you have a general price expectation with, look, I'll be providing you with my opinion of value when we meet. However, do you have a general price expectation? Is it similar to the one that's sold down the road? So, and it's not so you can just turn up lazily and regurgitate what they've told you, but, you start to build a bit of a picture around, okay, were they referred to you? Did they meet you at an inspection? What's a general description of the property? Have they added any value to it? Because the RP data photos might just show the original home, but they might have put an extension on it or done the bathroom, etc., and the general price expectation. So you start to build a bit of a story. So therefore there's that practical, professional, structured conversation which takes place, which is a lot better than a lot of our competitors are doing, which is, hey, 3 o'clock Thursday, see you there, turn up 3 minutes late, shuffling around with a CMA report. So I think that's critical leading up to that inspection.
I love that. It really disarms them and makes it almost like you're there to guide and help them, as we said this morning in the webinar episode. Adrian, obviously there's objections that come up throughout the listing process. We hear them time and time again: marketing, fee and cost, timing, methodology, VPA, all those types of things. Now, you were always one to really love getting those objections because you used case studies and evidence-based results on previous sales to really show the vendor that if you follow a similar process, the process will set us free. Why was that so important for you during your 25-year career, and still to this day when you're sitting down and talking with clients?
Well, I think the beauty with mastering listing is you only have to master those 5 things that you mentioned. VPA, price, have you got an office in the area, commissioning, and so there's not that many things you need to actually be a master at. So I think if you can isolate each of those and make sure that when you do ask those, the ultimate question, which is there any reason why we can't work together, or is there any reason why you cannot provide me with instructions, that they do lead you towards, well, you know what, Troy, I'm still not sure about that marketing. Great, let's sit down, let's isolate that and talk through it. So I think if you don't know what to say, you don't deserve the business. 2 is you need to have, like a tradesperson, scripts and dialogues in your toolbox to ensure that when that question comes around, and it could be as vague as, why should I list with you, or why should I list with McGrath? And in the coaching that we do, unfortunately, there's still some agents who look at you, with a stare and often provide a very opaque response to that, which really is not great, because, that is one of the main USPs, because what I'd love is for all agents listening to this and watching this, Troy, is to say, you know what, I'm really glad you asked me that question, because I've got a 6-point plan that once I go through it with you, I'm convinced that you are going to want to work with myself and McGrath. Let me talk you through those 6 points. 1 is our social media approach. 2 is our digital strategy approach. 3 is the fact that we don't necessarily rely on the marketing program to find buyers because we've already got buyers. Here's a printout of the people that I've actually already identified. 4 is we work with all agents in the area and got that open agent policy where we offer conjunctions. 5 is we work with buyers agents. 6 is we've got one database, one magazine, one website under the McGrath umbrella. So you're not just working with myself, but you're working with hundreds of other agents within our brand that can share buyers and IP. So there needs to be, whether it's a 6 or 10 point plan, that you need to say with veracity and conviction and actually make sure you deliver it really appropriately.
Yeah, and not scripted. That was the one thing that I loved about that. It was like a script and dialogue that you would practice so much that you just could not get it wrong.
Correct.
But the reality is, it was unscripted and it was unrehearsed, that it was guiding and it actually was really authentic. How do you guys go at that? What are your 5 key objections that you see in your market? Probably very similar to what we see across the 95 office network from all the way from Queensland down to Victoria. How do you role play them? How do you keep those conversations? Because this is something that we really want to focus on in 2019. If we're all getting the same common objections, let's work together as a team, because there's agents that are having phenomenal success, had a great end to 2018, are setting 2019 on fire. How are we going to overcome those things together? Absolutely. Adrian, the final part of that is your speed of follow-up was almost relentless. But it was done in a fun way, it was done in a nice way. You just didn't give up and you didn't take no for an answer in a lot of circumstances. That every single possible client that dealt with you at the listing presentation, that saw you at an open for inspection, saw you at an auction, they knew that you were the #1 agent in the area, but they also knew that you were going to get the best possible price for them because of how much you cared about making sure they understood your service level.
Yeah, look, a vendor wants to deal with a high energy agent, because a high energy agent is usually the agent that's going to work with high energy with buyers, and therefore to deliver as many buyers through their property as possible, which hopefully will evolve into a great price. So, I mean, if you're slow at getting back to the client, as John said, if they call you at 10, you don't get back to them till 2, well, that's only going to suggest to them that's the pace that you're going to adopt when you work with buyers, which is unacceptable. And by organically there and subliminally even, they're going to dismiss you as a potential candidate. So speed prior to the appointment is important. So pre-listing information goes out, as long as you've categorised a listing appointment, not just a market appraisal, because as John said this morning, there's no use sending a pre-listing kit to someone who's going to sell in 5 years, who just wants a price check. Still a very important meeting to go to, by the way. Different energy, different preparation. The importance of having an agenda and getting the best use of their time and the best use of your time at the appointment. So speed at the appointment is really important, as long as you go at their pace. And then the speed of follow-up, whether it's getting tradespeople, stylists, whatever, I'd be organising it on the spot. So often I'd be at the listing appointment, great stylist, I've got someone, let me give them a call now and I'll make an appointment before I leave today to come and see you tomorrow. What time? 12 o'clock tomorrow, Joe? Great. Does that suit you? Perfect. So by the time you leave, you've got your board of directors, if you like, which is your accountant, your advisor, your stylist, your solicitor, your gardener. They're all supporting you, and you've set up appointments before you leave, so you can't get better than real time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that whole philosophy on calling on those people that are going to be singing you praises and be advocates of your business because of the prior experience they've had.
Absolutely.
We're going to come back live this Friday, right? So apologies, this one comes out today. You're seeing it. It's Monday. It's Tuesday, sorry. Yeah. Australian Day, public holiday Monday. It's Tuesday. We're back this Friday, episode number 38. Adrian, we're seeing a lot of buyers come through open for inspection. So that's probably going to be our hot topic on how to deal with those buyers and all the energy around that in episode 38. Can't wait to see you guys out in the field. Remember, Kickstart events are coming. If you haven't RSVP'd already, please do so. The 7th of February in Sydney for New South Wales, in the 12th of February for Victoria, all together in Melbourne CBD, and then in Brisbane on the 14th, we're all together as well for all of Queensland. Can't wait to see you at those events. Can't wait to see you again this Friday, AB. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you all again around the grounds.
See you, team.